just started our mini tour de Mont Blanc. We were here last year doing a few days of the 11-day tour, and now we've started again where we left off at Glacier, which is behind me, and we started at 9:30, got the bus and the chairlift up to where we started, and we're walking for about half an hour. We're hoping for a fine day. We had fantastic weather last year, but it's a bit changeable. It was really warm yesterday and then it got into thundery showers. It's a little bit showery, but we're hoping it's going to clear later. So only another 8 hours walking till we get to the refuge where we're spending tonight. It was quite a hard morning climbing up from Glacier because the weather was really misty and drizzly, and as we got nearer and nearer the top it was even almost like flakes of snow. But we got to the top and then had to have a very steep climb down the path, and then finally descended to the road. Quite a busy main road, busier than I thought, and I was kind of thinking, oh, I don't want to go down, because if you have to go down then you have to go up again. That's the problem. And anyway, we reached the road and then we walked down to a very pretty little hamlet called Le Champ, where there are a few old wooden buildings, and there's a hut there where you can stay, and we stopped there and had some lunch, which was really nice. Very pretty flowers and a little stream, and then now we're on our way up to, I'm just reading the sign here, Aiguillette de Possette, which is a really high peak which we've got to go over to get down the other side to the refuge where we're staying tonight. So at Col de Blanc. So another 1.5 hours steep climb up and then going down again, I hope. We climbed up yesterday to Aiguillette de Possette, which was a really tough climb. It was about 2 hours up, and every time we just got to the crest there was another crest and another crest and another crest, and I thought we were never going to get there, but eventually we reached the top, and then there was a meadow, an alpine meadow that opened before us, which was great, and so we went down to that. Lots of ski runs. You could see it was a big ski piste in winter, and then there was a sign and we had the final run up to the refuge where we stayed tonight, and we had a bit of a drama on the way because there was a herd of cows that came across our path with huge horns, so that was a bit frightening because they were coming right at us along the path, so we had to get off the path and just let them pass. You can hear the bells in the distance maybe, they're still around. Hopefully they won't be chasing us today. And so we got to the refuge rather late. The mist was coming in and it was getting quite dark, so we arrived. Everything was in darkness and I thought, God, this place is completely closed, but eventually the old man and his wife who run it came to the door and let us in. So we've had the night here. Can't say I slept very well, but luckily the sun's shining today, so we're going to have a good day walking to Champex. We left refuge Col de Blanc yesterday and we skirted around the mountain, just going up slightly, and then we got this amazing view of the Glacier du Trion hanging above the valley. And then after that we had to skirt down on a very steep forest path right down to the river at the bottom that was rushing there, and we were heading for Col de la Forclaz, and as I came down I could see the cafe at the bottom by the river, and I thought, oh good, that's the refuge Col de Forclaz. But when we got down there we realised it wasn't at all. It was Café du Glacier, which was a lovely sort of picnic spot where people were coming to have their picnic with a view of the glacier above up the valley. So then we realised we had another hour to go after that to get to Col de la Forclaz, which was by the road, which is probably about halfway to Champex, where we've ended up tonight. And when we got there we just realised it was about 2 o'clock, and we just realised we weren't going to make another 4 or 5 hours to Champex, so we had to revert to plan B, which was to use the fantastic Swiss public transport system. And so we sat in a cafe and planned our next move, but we realised the bus wasn't going to come till 6 o'clock and that was going to be too late. So my friend Julia persuaded me we had to do a bit of hitchhiking, and luckily we got picked up quite quickly, and the nice man took us down to the station at Martigny, and then a couple of trains or buses later we ended up at Champex where we've been staying. And so today is the last day. We have to make our way back to Chamonix, but we're just going to have a look around Champex, which is a really pretty little resort. So Julia, how did you find the last couple of days walking there?
Well, as ever, absolutely fantastic scenery, but I did struggle at times with the altitude, unfortunately, which meant that I lost some strength and had to stop frequently. But it wouldn't stop me coming back next year, and I'm going to make sure I'm a bit fitter and also see if I can find some way of, combating the altitude problem that I've had.